Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Langley Speedway in Langley, Virginia. I'm Aaron Johnson with the Johnson iRacing team, bringing you today's feature race. It is 40 fast laps in the iRacing Advanced Legends Cup. This is the top split, the best of the best, the top drivers that were on the iRacing service at the time this race was offered. Let's have a look at today's starting lineups. Starting in the 12th spot in car number 10, racing out of the Mid-South region, that's Tony Colley. Starting in the 11th spot in car number 9, it's the Matco Tools Legends car of Paul Berry out of Front Royal, Virginia. Starting in the 10th spot, racing out of the Australia-New Zealand region in the Krusty Clown Legends car, it's Jamie Dallacosta. Starting 9th in car number 7, it's Brian Wignall racing out of New Jersey. In the 8th starting spot in car number 6, the Old Schools Motorsports Legends cars from Fielding, New Zealand, it's Brendan Drake. Starting 7th in car number 11, racing out of Japan, it's Daishin Ueyama. Starting in the 6th spot in car number 12, it's the Suave for Men Legends car out of Mount Wolf, Pennsylvania, that's Gordon Senf. Now, your top 5 starters. Starting in the 5th spot in car number 5, racing out of Pennsylvania, it's Frank Magny in the Route 5 car. Starting 4th in car number 4, that's Jim Dalton in the Paula S. Cousins Foundation Legends car out of Waterford, Pennsylvania. In the 3rd starting spot, it's the Hubley, Nova Scotia native Chris Ewing in the Haviland Legends car. Starting 2nd in car number 3, racing out of Canada, it's the Logitech machine of Robin Lariviere, and on the pole in car number 1, that's Lee Walker in the Grumpy Old Men Brewing car, Lee out of Dorset in the United Kingdom. Lee's going to show up on your telemetry in the bottom right as car 1, but on your screen he's going to be driving the familiar Grumpy Old Men Brewing car number 363. This race featuring a lot of talent. The 12 drivers here account for 402 iRacing asphalt oval victories among them, so a good field with a lot of strength at Langley. Walker sets the pace here. He took the pole for this race. Lee Walker running a nice custom setup, part of the Johnson iRacing team. And Lee going to lead the field out of turn number 4. The pace car is in. Walker leads the field out. He hammers the throttle, and Lee Walker is going to lead the field to the flag. Out front, it's the 363 of Walker, followed by the 3 of Lariviere. Then behind Lariviere, that's Chris Ewing in car number 2. That's the Haviland Legends car, a throwback to the Davey Allison cars of the late 80s, maybe early 90s. Looks a lot like the old Robert Yates machines when Larry McReynolds was crew chief. Out front, it is Lee Walker, followed by Lariviere and Ewing, with Dalton and Senf rounding out the top 5. Lee Walker pulling away just slightly here, ahead of the 3 of Lariviere. Those 3 cars really stretching the lead out early. We're 3 laps in, and we already have a 3-car breakaway. Walker, Lariviere, and Ewing, the top 3. Lee Walker down the back straightaway now into turn number 3. Langley, a pretty difficult track to run. Very easy to get the car sideways coming out of 4 and into the front straightaway. Pretty common mistake there as you lose traction pulling out, especially if you roll into the throttle really a little bit early. Walker doing a nice job, running a nice smooth line and edging away from the second place car of Robin Lariviere. Lee Walker leads. We are now 4 laps in. We can see a car spun on the front straightaway. I'd be willing to bet you a beverage of your choice that car spun coming off of turn number 4. Very difficult racetrack, easy to get around backward, especially out of 4. Lee Walker, though, doing a really nice job in the 363. Walker out front, followed by Lariviere and Chris Ewing. Behind them is Jim Dalton, and Jamie Dallacosta now has moved into the top 5. Dallacosta started in the 10th spot, so 5 spots up for Jamie Dallacosta. Let's take a look through the field. We are 6 laps into a 40 race, and let's see how they run on the speedway. That is Lee Walker out front, the 363 car. Behind Walker, the next car in the speedway, the 3 of Robin Lariviere. Robin currently shown in the 2nd spot. Behind Lariviere, that's car number 2, Chris Ewing. Ewing being shown in 3rd. Then behind Ewing on the speedway, that's the 4 of Jim Dalton. Dalton going to show up on the screen as car number 19, but on the telemetry in the bottom right hand of your video screen, he's going to show up as car number 4. Behind Dalton, the next car in line is the 8 of Jamie Dallacosta. Dallacosta doing a nice job moving up into the 5th spot. Then behind Dallacosta, it's the 11 of Daishin Ueyama. Daishin currently shown in the 6th spot. The next car on the speedway behind Ueyama is the 10 of Tony Colley. Colley currently being shown in the 7th spot. Colley disappearing, a little bit of internet lag. Then behind Colley, we've got the 9 of Paul Berry. Berry currently being shown in the 8th spot. And that looks like, no, there's maybe one more car on the lead lap here. Let's see if we can have a look. It is the 7 car of Brian Wignall. Wignall currently the last car on the lead lap. Just behind Brian Wignall, we're back around to the 363 of Lee Walker. Walker goes past Wignall. Wignall giving the leaders plenty of room, not wanting to interfere in the race here. But Lee Walker pulling away now. He's extended the lead to about 1.5 seconds over the 3 car of Robin Lariviere. Chris Ewing in 3rd, Jim Dalton 4th, Jamie Dallacasta rounding out the top 5. Then it's Uyama, Colley, Berry, Wignall, and Drake, your top 10. Gordon Senft and Frank Magny have exited the race. They are out, so there are 10 cars left in this 40-lap dash. We're on lap 13 of 40. Lee Walker holds a commanding lead down into turn number 3, now through the apex of the corner, out of 4 onto the front straightaway. You can see he's closing in on a lapped car. That's the lapped car. That's number 6, Brendan Drake. Drake currently being shown 2 laps down in 10th. Lee Walker closing in, getting ready to put Drake a 3rd lap down. Walker out of 4, nice, smooth, stable line. Drake goes around again. Very difficult coming out of 4. 4 is one of the most difficult corners, at least at Langley, I think, in all of the iRacing Legends series. If you can figure out how to manage a car out of turn 4 at Langley, you're going to be all right. But that's a tough call. Very challenging racetrack. Lee Walker leads. Robin Lariviere 2nd. Chris Ewing 3rd. Jim Dalton 4th. Jamie Dallacasta now in 5th. Uyama 6th, Colley 7th, and Paul Berry 8th. Those 8 cars on the lead lap. Brendan Drake is into the pits, and Brian Wignall being shown 1 lap down in the 9th spot. We can see Lee Walker beginning to close in on lap traffic. Can't quite make out what car that is. It will come into view momentarily as Walker heads into turn number 3 through the center of 3 and 4 again. Now out onto the front straightaway. It's Lee Walker closing in on a couple of lapped cars. That looks like the 9 of Paul Berry. Probably right in front of him would be the 10 of Tony Colley. I seem to remember those cars being pretty close to each other, as we can see Walker closing in on the 9. Walker getting ready to put the 7th place car of Paul Berry a lap down. Berry giving the leader plenty of room. Lee Walker drives by. He's out for a Sunday drive, doing a nice job in that 363. Walker now closing in on the 10 of Tony Colley. Going to put Colley a lap down as well. Lee Walker leads. We are getting ready to start lap 20. This will mark the halfway point of this feature event. Lee Walker pulling away. He has a 2-second lead over the 3 car of Robin Lariviere. Let's have a look at how they run on the racetrack. We'll start with the 363 of Lee Walker. Walker out of Dorset, England, currently being shown in the 1st position. Just behind Walker, we see that the 9 of Paul Berry is trying to make a pass on the 10 of Tony Colley. Colley pulls the crossover move and gets back by coming out of 2. So the 10 and the 9, even though they're a lap down, racing hard on the speedway. Just behind the 9 car, that's the 3, your 2nd place car of Robin Lariviere. Lariviere turning underneath the 9 to go ahead and make the pass. Just behind Lariviere, we see the 2 of Chris Ewing. Ewing currently being shown in the 3rd spot. Behind the 9 car, that's the 7 of Brian Wignall. Wignall currently shown 2 laps down in the 8th spot. Then behind Wignall, we've got the 19. That 19 car being shown, that's the Paula's Foundation car. That's Jim Dalton. He's currently being shown in 4th. My apologies for the hesitation there. The 19 car, that is Jim Dalton. Behind Dalton, the next car on the speedway is the 8 of Jamie Dallacasta. Dallacasta currently shown in the 5th spot, still on the lead lap. Then behind Dallacasta, that's the 6 of Brendan Drake. Drake now 8 laps down in the 9th position. Behind Drake, we're back around to the 363 of Lee Walker. There'll be 15 to go this time by. Walker extends the lead. He's more than 3 seconds ahead of the 2nd place car of Chris Ewing. Lee Walker has not put one tire astray. The car stable and fast in this top split at Langley Speedway in the iRacing Advanced Legends Cup. Walker, a member of the Johnson iRacing team. The Johnson iRacing team is a place where you can get tutorials, free setups for these Legends cars. If you're struggling to race in the Legends series and you want to learn more, just go to JIRTracing.com. They'll have tutorial series setups and a host of videos that can help you learn how to get around the racetrack in these cars. Walker out front runs into turn number 1, closes on the 6 of Brendan Drake. Drake's had some trouble coming off of turn number 4. Again, probably the most challenging turn in all of the iRacing Oval Cup events is turn 4 at Langley. Very easy to get a car around here. Walker pulling away. He is now well ahead of the 2 car of Chris Ewing. Ewing has made his way around the 3 of Robin Lariviere, so it's Walker 1, Ewing 2, Lariviere 3. In the 4th spot, it's Jim Dalton. That's the 19 car. Those 4 cars, the only cars remaining on the lead lap, as Lee Walker has set a blistering pace at Langley. Walker down the back straightaway now into turn number 3. He'll let that gold and red Legends car rotate through the center of the corner, then roll into the throttle back out onto the front straightaway. Lee Walker showing him how it's done at Langley. Walker out of 2 onto the back straightaway. That red and gold and silver Grumpy Old Men Brewing car looking fantastic today as Lee Walker putting on a clinic in the Legends Series. 9 laps to go. I heard a little bit of tire squall there, so someone must have had a mishap. I don't know if they hit anything, but it sounded like they may have gone around. Walker 1, Ewing 2, Lariviere 3. There'll be 8 to go this time by. Lee Walker closing in on the lapped car of Brian Wignall. Wignall 2 laps down in the 7th spot, staying up high and out of the way as Lee Walker goes by down the back straightaway. Walker with 8 to go, well out in front of the 2 of Chris Ewing. Ewing well back, almost 3 seconds behind the 363 of Walker. It is Walker 1, Ewing 2, Lariviere 3. Let's see if we can crawl in with Chris Ewing. He's managed to pull that Haviland car out of traffic and looks like he might actually be closing the gap just ever so slightly on Lee Walker. Lariviere beginning to drift up a little bit. We can notice that Lariviere pushed up in the middle of 3 and 4. That car looks like it may be tightening up just a little bit in 3 and 4. So it's Walker, Ewing, Lariviere, then Jim Dalton. Those 4 cars on the lead lap. Jamie Dallacosta and Paul Berry are 1 lap down, with Brian Wignall in the 7th spot, 3 laps down. Brendan Drake 9 laps down in 8th. 4 cars have exited the race. Out front, it is Lee Walker. Walker all by his lonesome, running a great race. He's going to go by the start-finish line this time. There'll be 4 laps to go. Lee Walker showing the way in the Grumpy Old Men Brewing Legends car. Looks like the car's tightened up just a little bit on Walker as well. You can see the car wanting to push a little bit, especially coming off of 2. The car looks really good out of 4. Lee Walker running a fantastic race here. Walker through the center of 1 and 2. You can see that car trying to push up just a little bit as he comes off of 2. Still doing a nice job. Very quick race car. He's begun to extend the lead again on Chris Ewing. Ewing closed to just under 3 seconds, but Walker has extended that lead back out. 2 to go this time by. Lee Walker is going to take the win today, barring any sort of unfortunate accident. Walker down the back straightaway into turn number 3, now through the center of 3 and 4 and out onto the front straightaway. He's going to come by and take the white flag this time by. It's Lee Walker. Almost has a terrible accident, as that was the 6 of Brendan Drake going around again, coming out of 4, and this time bouncing out into the front straightaway. Walker all over the binders, manages to miss that car. Lee Walker with a scare on the last lap, but it's going to be Lee Walker with the victory. Walker takes home the win at Langley Speedway. In 2nd spot, it's the 2 of Chris Ewing, followed then by the 3 car of Robin Lariviere in the 4th spot. That was Jim Dalton, with Paul Berry rounding out the top 5. Lee Walker takes the win. It's Ewing, Lariviere, Dalton, and Berry the next 5. Then Jamie Dallacosta is going to come home 6th. Brian Wignall will finish 7th. Brendan Drake 8th, with Tony Colley 9th, and Daishin Uyeyama rounding out the top 10. Fantastic race today. Lee Walker running a near flawless race. Had only the 1 scare on the last lap, and pulled away for a commanding victory. For the Johnson iRacing team on the Johnson iRacing Network, this is Aaron Johnson saying, go fast, turn left, have fun.